What is up, you lovers of all things locks? I do hope you are having a beautiful Sunday. Welcome back to the Sebetray channel where I discuss everything from lock care to lock repair. Hit that like button and watch the entire video because doing those things really helps the channel grow. If you don't watch the entire video, then it's not going to be suggested to other people, and then my channel is going to plateau and die. Okay, maybe it's not that extreme, but yes, support your bro. So yeah, with all that said, let's get into today's topic. Today I'm going to be discussing the different types of head garments that you can wear to cover your locks. There are many different types, many variations of the same type, and it really all just depends on what you're looking for. So hopefully as I go through some of the types, I didn't even exhaust my complete supply, but as I go through some of the types of head coverings, head garments, protective head garments that you can wear to cover your locks, hopefully you'll be able to make a better decision for yourself. Let's get to it.
You is back, yeah. You is back, yeah. You is back, yeah. You.
Alright, so we're going to start with the Dorag. Now, if you look closely at this, you will see that this is in fact not a Dorag. This is just kind of something you put on your locks and then you tie. But I cannot find my Dorag right now. It's been years since I've worn it because obviously it doesn't fit over my locks anymore. But if you're first starting out, a Dorag is fine. The most important thing is that it covers your entire head, like it covers all of your locks. And especially as you're sleeping through the night, because remember, you're trying to protect them. You're trying to reduce friction, especially in the early stages. You're trying to reduce the amount of movement that they undergo throughout the night. So you definitely want to make sure most, if not all, of your locks are covered by a Dorag. Now once you get to the point, once you graduate to a length where that can no longer take place, then you need to move on to another type of head covering. But I'll put a picture up for those of you, and I really doubt there are any of you who don't know what a Dorag is, but just in case there is someone, this is what a Dorag looks like. So yeah, you just put it on your head, tie it around, make a little knot, not too tight because you don't want to give yourself a headache, and yeah, go on about your business. I love the Dorag. I wish I was still able to wear a Dorag because it's just so cool, you know. It gives you that immediate swag for sure, and it gets the job done. So this is for someone who has like short to medium length locks, I would say. And basically you just put your locks in here, you stuff them in here, they hang at the back, and you just tie it. This never fit me, so I could never actually use this. This opening was not big enough for my head. Well, it was, but once I got it on, it was too tight, and I'm very sensitive to any type of pressure on my head. I get headaches easily if there's tension or pressure, so I couldn't really wear it. Something to be mindful though, see how this is kind of collected lint. If yours does look like this, you might want to try to pick the lint off, but most importantly, make sure it's not on the inside part that's actually touching your locks. But you know, this is a viable option for anyone with locks. Once again, someone who has short to medium length, this could work for. Next up is the Dread Sock. I think this was a small at one point. This kind of stretched over the years, and believe it or not, I could still wear this and get all of my locks up in it just because the material is so stretchy. I absolutely love this. Because of the stretchiness of the material, people with baby locks can use this, all the way up to people who have long locks like me. Now at some point, especially if you have super thick hair, thick coarse hair, you know, you might be pushing it with how far you can stretch this out. But the Dreadlock is definitely known for having material that is really stretchy. It's very comfortable. It stays on your head at night. And as your locks get longer, they do have different sizes, so you don't have to stick with this. This is just what I got during I think it was my first year of having locks. And yeah, as you see, I'm over 6 years now and I still have it. I still love it. Now, as I said, they have different sizes. This is a large. So as you can see, it's much longer. And you don't have to bunch your locks up in it. You can just kind of stuff them in and let them hang. So this is definitely for someone who has medium to long locks for sure. But yeah, I love the Dreadlock. It's a great product, and as you can see, lasts for many years. Now you could also go to maybe a dollar store or something and buy a satin bonnet. As you know, this is the thing that I wear most often now. Like 99.9% of the time, I'm wearing a satin bonnet, which is always under my tam. So if you see me with a tam on, no, please believe that there's a satin bonnet. There's one of these under there. The satin bonnet is great because it gives your locks room to move around a bit. It's satin. So it helps to hold the moisture. It also obviously reduces friction while protecting your locks from dust and debris and just the elements if you're outside. I love the satin bonnet, and I would say the only downside that I can think of, especially if you get like a cheaper one, is that it stretches out over time. So for instance, a nice tight satin bonnet will become worn and just kind of stretch out. This elasticity, I mean, while there's still a lot there, it loses its elasticity over time, meaning it becomes more and more stretched out. You know, it doesn't stay as tight. Obviously, like, the material is still fine. It'll still protect your locks and do what it needs to do. But it's just that this hole becomes bigger over time especially if you get like a cheaper one. Just know that eventually it will become loose. Something that I will do, because I'm kind of frugal, is I will take, this one is really old, I will bunch it up and then kind of sew there to make the hole smaller, but it's still going to stretch out over time and lose even more elasticity. So you can see now it's really lost. This one has really lost its elasticity. Like it's pretty much not there. If you compare that with this, right? The other one is pretty much right there. It's at that point already, right? Maybe even there. So eventually you're not going to be able to use it. Once again, it's not because the material is damaged. It's just that it loses its elasticity. So if the hole becomes too big, you can bunch it up and then sew that part so that you're essentially working with a smaller hole. But eventually you're going to have to get a new satin bonnet. That's pretty much the only downside to these. I will also say, though, quickly, I'll mention that some of them are not made with this nice flat elastic band. Some of them, I had one that it was like two bands side by side, but they were rounded, so it would dig into my skin, and yeah, that was just not cool. And then also it would ride up to my hairline, and with these, you should definitely make sure that this elastic band is not touching your hairline, because obviously you can rip your hair out and your hairline will recede, right, due to traction alopecia. So, but other than that, though, I actually really love the satin bonnet. If you didn't know, but I'm sure most of you already know that. More recently, I bought a nicer satin bonnet on Amazon, and this one, you can see it just is so much nicer than the ones I got from the dollar store, but it's reversible, which is awesome. So if I don't feel like displaying black on the outside, I can display this shade of blue. It's also nice because it has this band, you know, the same band that's fitting around your your head, it's adjustable, so you can make it tighter or looser. So it's actually really, really, really comfortable. And it's big too. Like, this is a bigger one. You can definitely tell that the inside is, you know, there's definitely much more room in there. That was one of the reasons why I bought this, because I got tired of having to buy new satin bonnets or sewing them to try to make them last longer and stuff like that. But also I needed more room for my locks, because you'll find some satin bonnets that they won't fit all of your locks. But this one definitely does not have that problem. But I don't wear this one under my towels because there's so much material, you know. It's just so, it's a lot. It feels like I have a pillow on my head when I wear this. But hey, you know, the sacrifices we make, right? But yeah, this is definitely an awesome satin bonnet. And this one is by Yanni Best. You can also just use a satin scarf. This is just it's too big to really show you all at once, but it's basically just a square satin scarf. So you can wrap this around to cover your locks, and it serves the same purpose as the other head coverings that I've shown you so far. So, I mean, you guys have many options, honestly. Just figure out what feels most comfortable on your head and go with that. And lastly, if you really are just against wearing anything on your head, like you really just feel like you have to be free and sleep with your locks out, then you can always buy a pillowcase. So this is the satin pillow protector. And yeah, you can see it's just a nice standard white pillowcase, but it's satin. So if you really refuse to cover your locks, then at the very least get a satin or silk pillowcase and try to protect them that way. Hopefully this video has helped to give you some options of the things that you can use to cover and protect your locks while you're on your lock journey. There is no one perfect head covering. Everybody is different and has different preferences and requirements. Everybody has different things that may or may not bother them. So it really is a subjective choice. The purpose of this video was to give you options and to leave you with things to consider as you decide which type of head covering you want to use to protect your locks. So hopefully this video has done that. Please drop down below in the comment section and let me know which type of head covering resonates most with you. Me personally, I alternate, so I will definitely use the satin bonnet, you know, when I'm wearing my Tams or whatever. But sometimes I don't feel like bunching up my locks, so maybe I'll use the long dread sock if I don't want to sleep on bunch locks one night. And then sometimes I may use the scarf. And then sometimes I may use the short dread sock. It really just depends, but I will tell you that it is very nice to have options. It would suck to only have one of these and then be forced to always use that. So if you can diversify your set, I encourage you to do so. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you're not already subscribed, please do so. And don't forget to hit the notification button so that you are aware of every single time I upload. If you choose to love, do so unconditionally, because loving with conditions conditions the heart to not really love at all. So Betray You is out.